Mama, asan na yung medyas kong may design na dinosaur? Yung paborito ko, sigaw ng anak kong si Miracle mula sa kwarto, habang ako naman ay nagkukumahog sa paghahanap ng matinong blouse na isusuot. Diyos ko, anong oras na ba? Malalate na ako sa job interview ko. Nasa drawer mo lang yan, anak. Hanapin mong mabuti, please lang, nagmamadali si mama, sagot ko, medyo pasigaw na rin. Stress level, 900 at 900. Single mom life, no. Kailangan mong maging nanay, tatay, tagalaba, tagaluto, at kung minsan, tagahanap ng nawawalang medyas na may dinosaur. Paglabas ko ng kwarto, dala ang resume na ilang beses ko nang ni-check. Nadatnan ko si Miracle na nakaupo sa sahig, nakabusangot, hawak ang isang peres ng medyas na teka, medyas ko iyon ah. Yung may butas sa hinliliit. Miracle. Bakit yan ang suot mo? At bakit yan ang kinuha mo? Yan yung pang-alis ko, anak. Kasi, mama, hindi ko talaga makita yung dinosaur. Saka ang cute kaya nito, may extra butas for ventilation, sabay kindat ng loko-loko kong anak. Mana talaga sakin sa kalokohan. Napabuntong hininga na lang ako. Wala na akong oras makipagtalo. Okay, fine. Pero next time, wag mong pakikialaman ang gamit ni mama, okay? Halika na, baka malate pa tayo sa paghatid sa iyo sa school. Mabilis ang almusal ng pandesal at kape para sa akin, gatas at cereal naman para kay Miracle. Pagkatapos, karipas na kami ng takbo palabas ng aming maliit na apartment sa Girgis. Mabini. Ang Girgis. Mabini, ang aming munting paraiso sa Isla de Clara, malayo sa ingay at gulo ng Maynila. Pero ngayon, kailangan kong harapin ang Maynila para sa interview na to. Kailangan ko ng trabaho, para kay Miracle, para sa amin. Mama, pag nakuha mo yung work, bili mo ko ng bagong coloring book, ha? Yung may mga princess, sabi ni Miracle habang naglalakad kami papunta sa sakayan ng tricycle. Naman, anak. Basta magpakabait ka, ha, sagot ko, sabay pisil sa pisngi niya. Pagkahatid ko kay Miracle sa eskwelahan, dumiretso na ako sa terminal ng van papuntang Maynila. The usual chows, siksikan, mainit, at amoy usok. Pero carry lang. Para sa pangarap, para sa kinabukasan. After ng halos 2 oras na biyahe, finally, Maynila. Grabe ang traffic. Nagbook ako ng ride-sharing app para mas mabilis, sana. Pagbaba ko ng van, nagmamadali akong naghanap ng sasakyan ko. My phone buzzed. Your driver is here. Silver sedan, plate number DAFYC 123. Sakto, may nakita akong silver na sedan na huminto sa di kalayuan. Mukhang yun na yun. Without even checking the plate number, nagmamadali akong binuksan ang pinto sa likod at pumasok. Kuya, sa De La Vega Towers po tayo sa Makati. Bilisan po natin, medyo late na ako, sabi ko, habang inaayos ang sarili ko at ang gamit ko. Hindi ko na tiningnan yung driver, basta umupo na lang ako. May narinig akong mahinang ubo mula sa driver's seat. Excuse me, miss. Napatingin ako. At doon ko lang napansin. Hindi to yung typical na ride-sharing driver. Nakasuot siya ng mamahaling suit, ang bango ng sasakyan, at teka, bakit parang ang gwapo naman yata ni Kuya Driver? Ah, sorry po. De La Vega Towers. Nagmamadali lang po talaga, ulit ko, medyo nahiya. The man turned slightly, and our eyes met through the rearview mirror. My breath hitched. He wasn't just handsome, he was striking. Matangos ang ilong, malalim ang mga mata, at may aroganting ngiti sa labi. Parang leading man sa isang kedrama, pero yung tipo na masungit na mayaman. I believe there's been a mistake, miss, sabi niya, his voice low and smooth, pero may halong amusement. This isn't public transport. Nanlaki ang mga mata ko. Ano pong ibig niyong sabihin? Nagsimula na akong kabahan. Napatingin ako sa labas. Nga, wala namang sticker ng ride-sharing company. In my God, Vena. Ano nang pinasok mo? This is the private car, he stated, matter-of-factly. And I'm quite certain didn't book passenger named. Miss nagmamadali. Pula na yata ang buong mukha ko sa hiya. Ay, Diyos ko. Sorry po. Akala ko po kasi. Yung nabook ko silver din po kasi. Nako, pasensya na po talaga. Dali-dali kong kinuha ang gamit ko, akmang bubuksan ang pinto. Wait, sabi niya. Where exactly in De La Vega Towers are you going? Sa 25 floor po. May job interview po ako sa De La Vega Group of Companies. Lalo akong nahiya. Ang bigati ng kumpanyang ina-applyan ko, tapos ganito ang eksena ko. He raised an eyebrow. De La Vega Group, you say? A small smirk played on his lips. Interesting. Hindi na siya nagsalita pa. Instead, he started the car and began to drive. Teka, kuya. Sir. Saan po tayo pupunta? Baba na po ako. Nakakahiya po talaga. Relax, miss, nagmamadali, sabi niya, hindi pa rin nawawala ang ngiti sa labi. Since we're both heading to the same building, I might as well give you a ride. Consider it an unexpected perk for your rather bold entrance. Hindi ako makapaniwala. Ihahatid niya ako. Sino ba to? At bakit ang gaan ng loob niya sa isang tulad ko na basta na lang sumakay sa kotse niya? The ride was awkward, to say the least. Tahimik lang ako, nakatingin sa labas, pinipigilan ang sarili kong magpanik. Siya naman, panay ang sulyap sakin sa rearview mirror na parang aliw na aliw sa sitwasyon. So, job interview, huh? He finally broke the silence. What position are you applying for? Executive assistant po, mahina kong sagot. Executive assistant to whom, if I may ask? Sa SAICI po yata. Hindi po specific sa job ad, pero yun po ang sabi ng agency. He chuckled softly. The say, you say? Ambitious. Hindi ko alam kung compliment ba yun o insulto. I just smiled weakly. Pagdating namin sa De La Vega Towers, grabe, ang laki at ang gara ng building. Parang ibang mundo. Huminto siya sa SAICI parking. Pinagbuksan pa kami ng pinto ng isang guard. Thank you po ulit, sir. Pasensya na po talaga sa abala, sabi ko, nagmamadaling bumaba. No problem, miss. Vena po. Vena Santiago. Vena, he repeated, as if testing the name. Well, Vena, good luck with your interview. May kakaibang ngiti sa mga labi niya. Tumango lang ako at nagmamadaling pumasok sa lobby. Ang lamig ng aircon, pero pinagpapawisan pa rin ako sa nerbiyos at hiya. Dumiretso ako sa reception. Good morning, miss. I'm Vena Santiago. I have an interview for the same position at Isa Zero Dev. The receptionist, a very prim and proper lady, looked at her computer. Yes, Yuma Santiago. Please proceed to the 25 floor. En De La Vega's office. En De La Vega. The CEO. Kinakabahan na ako. Pagdating ko sa 25 floor, sinalubong ako ng isa pang assistant. Ang ganda ng office. Parang nasa pelikula. Minimalist, modern, with a breathtaking view of the city. Santiago, please have the seat. De La Vega will be with you shortly, sabi ng assistant, ngumiti ng professional. Umupo ako sa isang plush leather sofa. Pinakalma ko ang sarili ko. Kaya mo to, Vena. Para kay Miracle. Maya-maya, bumukas ang pinto ng isang malaking opisina. At mula doon, lumabas ang. Nanlaki ang mga mata ko. Hindi. Pwede. Maging. Totoo. Ang lalaking nagbigay sa akin ng unexpected perk na ride. Ang lalaking tinawag kong kuya driver. Ang lalaking pinasok ko ang kotse ng walang paalam. Nakatayo siya ngayon sa harap ko, nakapamulsa, very familiar, very arrogant, very amused smirk on his devastatingly handsome face. Vena Santiago, as presumed, sabi niya, his voice dripping with mock formality. Welcome to my office. I'm Franco de la Vega. The CEO you're supposed to be assisting. Pakiramdam ko, hihimatayin ako sa kinaupuan ko. Ang pagkakamali na akala ko ay simpleng kahihiyan lang, ay ang pagkakamali na nagdala sa ng diretso sa bibig ng leon. Or in this case, sa opisina ng pinakagwapong, pinaka-nakaka-intimidate na CEO na nakilala ko. This was not just a job interview anymore. This was something else entirely. Ang pagkakamali na nagbago ng lahat. Nakatitig lang ako kay Franco de la Vega, IDE, arrogant CE, who gave me to ride, IDE, ang boss kong hindi ko sinasadyang masakyan ang kotse. Gusto kong magpalamon sa lupa. Gusto kong mag-disappear na parang bula. This was beyond embarrassing. This was mortifying on an epic, biblical scale. So, Gmel Santiago, he began, his voice still laced with that infuriating amusement as he settled into his massive leather chair behind an equally massive mahogany desk. Shall we proceed with the interview, or would you prefer to, perhaps, check if car needs any extra ventilation? Napapikit ako ng mariin. Okay, Vena, compose yourself. Hindi ka pwedeng magpatalo sa hiya. Kailangan mo tong trabaho. Para kay Miracle. Huminga ako ng malalim. En de la Vega, I sincerely apologize for what happened earlier. It was a complete misunderstanding on every part, hindi ko po sinasadya. His voice was trembling slightly, but tried to keep it steady. He leaned back, stippling his fingers, his eyes never leaving mine. God, those eyes. Parang nang aakit, nang uusig, at nang iinis all at the same time. Misunderstanding. Or perhaps, a rather unconventional way to make first impression. Sir, I assure you, it was purely accidental. Nagmamadali lang po talaga ako. I noticed, he said irritated. You seem to be in a hurry a lot, Gmel Santiago. Okay, he was definitely enjoying this. Fine. Two can play this game. Kung asaran lang naman ang gusto niya. Well, Dim de la Vega, I said, trying to inject a bit of confidence into my voice, being a single mother in Manila, rushing is practically a survival skill. Mahirap pong mag-juggle ng trabaho, ng anak, at ng traffic sa EDSA kung hindi ka magmamadali. I even managed a small, slightly sarcastic smile. His expression flickered. For a split second, the amusement in his eyes was replaced by something else. Curiosity. Or was it recognition? Hindi ko masabi. It was gone as quickly as it appeared. A single mother, you say, he murmured, more to himself than to me. He picked up the resume from his desk, his eyes scanning its Vena Santiago. From Giri. Mabini, Isla de Clara. Napalunok ako. Isla de Clara. Ang munting probinsya namin. Bigla akong na-homesick. Bigla akong na-miss si Miracle, si Tatay Tonyo. The interview proceeded, surprisingly, like normal interview. He asked about my qualifications, their previous work experiences, which were mostly part-time jobs while I was studying, and then helping Tatay Tonyo with our small sari-sari store back in Mabini. He was professional, albeit still a bit intimidating. Ako naman, sinubukan kong sagutin lahat ng tanong niya ng matino, kahit na sa loob-loob ko, gusto ko nang tumakbo palabas. After what felt like an eternity, he leaned back again. All right, Gmel Santiago. That will be all for now. ES department will get in touch with you regarding the results. Tumayo na ako, ready to make my escape. Thank you for your time, Dim de la Vega. One more thing, Gmel Santiago, he said, stopping me just as I reached the door. Napalingon ako. Yes, sir. That dinosaur themed sock your daughter was looking for this morning, he said, ghost of a smile playing on his lips. Did she find it? Natigilan ako. Paano niya nalaman iyon? Did mention it earlier. Sa sobrang kaba ko, hindi ko na matandaan. Or was he just messing with me? Opo, sir. Nakita naman po niya, I managed to say, feeling his cheeks flush again. This man was impossible. He just nodded, that enigmatic smile still on his face. Paglabas ko ng opisina niya, parang nabunutan ako ng 10 tinik. Grabe. What an experience. Akala ko, yun na yung pinakakakaibang job interview na mapagdadaanan ko. I was wrong. Kinagabihan, pag-uwi ko sa tinutuluyan kong maliit na kwarto sa Maynila, nakikitira muna ako sa isang malayong kamag-anak ni tatay habang naghahanap ng trabaho. Tumawag ang EC ng De La Vega Group. Good evening, Gmel Santiago. This is Diane from De La Vega Group AC. Yes, good evening. My heart started to pound. Ito na. We're pleased to inform you that De La Vega has decided to offer you the position of his personal assistant. Natulala ako. What? Ako? Personal assistant ng Sihi. After ng lahat ng kahihiyan kanina? Seryoso ba to? Po. Talaga po, hindi makapaniwalang tanong ko. Yes, Yumel Santiago. He was quite impressed with your interview. Impressed? O baka naman, naamus lang siya sa katangahan ko. The salary is very competitive, with full benefits, and a starting bonus. The salary she mentioned was huge. More than I could have ever dreamed of earning. Sapat na sapat para sa amin ni Miracle, at makakapagpadala pa ako kay Tatay Tonyo sa probinsya. However, Diane continued, De La Vega has a few specific conditions. Given the demanding nature of his work, he requires his side to be available almost 24 paghahati-7. There will be frequent out-of-town trips, sometimes even out of the country. And he expects absolute discretion and loyalty. 24 paghahati-7 availability. Out-of-town trips. Paano si Miracle? Sino nang mag-aalaga sa kanya? I understand, I said, my mind racing. Can have some time to think about it. Of course, Yumel Santiago. But De La Vega would appreciate decision Eli tomorrow morning. He's quite keen on having you start as soon as possible. Keen. That word again. Anong meron sa Sifi na to at parang gustong-gusto niya akong pahirapan I had. Pagkababa ko ng telepono, napaupo ako sa kama. Ang daming tumatakbo sa isip ko. The money was life-changing. Pero yung kapalit, yung oras ko, yung pagiging malayo kay Miracle. Kakayanin ko ba? Tinawagan ko si Tatay Tonyo sa probinsya. Kinuwento ko sa kanya ang lahat, mula sa nakakahiyang car incident hanggang sa job offer. Si Tatay Tonyo, ang aking matalino at mapagmahal na ama. Siya ang naging sandigan ko mula noong iwan kami ng nanay ni Miracle. Ay, ng nanay ko pala. Long story. Basta, si Tatay Tonyo, aking hero. Anak, sabi ni Tatay pagkatapos kong magkwento. Malaking oportunidad yan. Pero ang tanong, kakayanin ba ng puso mo? Hindi ko po alam, Tay. Gusto ko po yung trabaho, yung sahod. Para po kay Miracle, para sa inyo. Pero paano po si Miracle kung lagi akong wala? Elvie's voice broke. Si Miracle, Vena, matalino yang bata. Maiintindihan niya. At nandito naman ako. Pwede siyang umuwi muna dito sa Mabini habang nagsisimula ka. Aalagaan ko siya. Ang mahalaga, yung kinabukasan niya, masisiguro mo. Pero Tay, ayokong iwan si Miracle. Siya na lang po ang meron ako. At ikaw din ang meron siya, anak. Kaya nga kailangan mong maging matatag. Minsan, kailangan nating magsakripisyo para sa mga mahal natin. Isipin mong mabuti. Ano ba talaga ang gusto mo? Ano ang mas matimbang? Ang heart-to-heart namin ni Tatay, yun ang nagbigay sa akin ng kaunting linaw. He was right. Kailangan kong maging matatag. Kailangan kong isipin ang kinabukasan ni Miracle. The next morning, I called Diane from EUT. Yes, Diane, good morning. This is Vena Santiago. I've decided to accept De La Vega's offer. That's wonderful news, Yumel Santiago. De La Vega will be very pleased. However, I added, taking a deep breath. I also have a few conditions, if that's alright. Nagulat yata si Diane. Sino ba naman kasing bagong empleyado ang magsiset ng conditions sa si? Pero bahala na. Kailangan kong gawin to. His daughter, Miracle, is the utmost priority, as stated firmly. While I understand the demands of the job, I need to have clear boundaries. I need to be able to spend quality time with her, especially on weekends, whenever possible. And if there are emergencies concerning her, I need to be able to attend to them without fear of losing my job. There was a pause on the other end. Then, Diane said, I will relay your request to De La Vega. email Santiago. Please wait for his call. Oh, great. Ngayon, direkta na akong tatawagan ng Dragon Este ng si. Hindi naman nagtagal, tumunog ang phone ko. Unknown number. My heart did nervous flip. Hello. Na Santiago. Franco de la Vega here. His voice, as usual, was calm and controlled, but I could sense an underlying something. Good morning, Dimle de la Vega. YGT had informed me of your conditions, he said, the word conditions sounding slightly sarcastic. About your daughter. Yes, sir. Pasensya na po, pero kailangan ko lang pong linawin. Siya po talaga ang priority ko. I braced myself for a lecture, or worse, for him to retract the job offer. Instead, he was silent for a moment. Then, he said, understand, email Santiago. And I respect that. Family is important. Nagulat ako. Did Franco de la Vega just say he understands? And respects my decision? Sino to, at anong ginawa niya sa masungit na CEO na nakilala ko kahapon? Your conditions are acceptable, he continued. As long as they do not compromise your ability to perform your duties effectively. We can work out a schedule that accommodates both your responsibilities as a VA and as a mother. Hindi ako makapagsalita. Totoo ba to? So, email Santiago, he said, and I could almost hear the smirk in his voice again. When can you start making the coffee and, perhaps, ensuring this car doesn't get mistaken for a taxi again? Natawa ako ng bahagya. As soon as possible, sir. Good. Report to Dinbay office tomorrow morning, 8 sharp. And Vena? Yes, sir. Welcome to the De La Vega Group. Try not to cause too much chaos on your first day. And just like that, I had a job. A high-paying, demanding job, working for mysterious, intimidating, and surprisingly understanding, at times, si. Ang alok na akala ko ay hindi ko matatanggap dahil sa mga sakripisyo, ay naging isang alok na hindi ko matanggihan. Dahil sa likod ng lahat ng kaba at pag-aalinlangan, may isang munting pag-asa na sumisilip. Pag-asa para sa mas magandang buhay para kay Miracle. At pag-asa na baka naman, sa kabila ng lahat ng kamalasan ko, may maganda pa ring naghihintay sa akin. Pero habang nag-iimpake ako ng gamit ko para sa unang araw ko sa trabaho, hindi ko maiwasang isipin. Bakit ako? Bakit parang ang dali para kay Franco de la Vega na ibigay ang mga deconditions ko? There was something about him, something beyond the arrogancy facade. Something I couldn't quite put my finger on. At yung sinabi niyang key family is important. Bakit parang may lungkot sa boses niya noong sinabi niya yun? Isang alok na hindi matanggihan. Pero ano kaya ang kapalit? The first few weeks as Franco de la Vega's personal assistant were a whirlwind. To say he was a demanding boss was an understatement. His schedule was insane, packed with back-to-back meetings, business trips, and an endless stream of phone calls and emails that had to manage. Pero surprisingly, I was coping. More than coping, I was actually doing well. Siguro dahil sanay na akong mag-multitask at magtrabaho under pressure, thanks to single motherhood. Franco, for his part, was an enigma. One moment, he was the ruthless CEO, barking orders and expecting perfection. The next, he'd show these unexpected glimpses of kindness, like when he noticed a skipped lunch because of tight deadline and had food delivered to the desk. O kaya yung minsan na inabutan ako ng ulan pag-uwi at pinahiram niya ako ng payong niya, yung mamahalin na mailogo pa ng De La Vega Corp. Small gestures, pero it made me wonder about the man behind the power suit. True to his word, he respected the boundaries when it came to Miracle. Weekends were mostly mine, unless there was a super urgent matter. At kapag may out-of-town trip, he'd make sure na may sapat na notice para maihanda ko si Miracle at si Tatay Tonyo. Umuwi muna si Miracle sa probinsya, as per Tatay's suggestion, habang nag-a-adjust pa ako sa bago kong trabaho. Mahirap pero kinakaya para sa kanya. One Saturday, Franco had an unexpected free day. Wala siyang meetings, walang lakad. I was supposed to be off, but he called me early in the morning. Emma Santiago, his voice was unusually light. Are you busy today? Sir, wala naman po. Day off ko po sana. I know. But he was wondering. I haven't had a decent home-cooked Filipino meal in ages. And I remember you mentioning your adobo is legendary. Natigilan ako. Legendary adobo. Kailan ko sinabi yun? Nga pala, noong isang beses na nag-overtime kami at nagkwentuhan kami ng very, very light. Na-mention ko na paborito ni Miracle ang adobo ko. Sir, are you inviting yourself over for lunch? I asked, half amused, half surprised. Is that problem, Santiago? Hindi naman po, sir. Pero sigurado po kayo? Baka di nyo magustuhan ang luto ko. I'm willing to take the risk. Besides, I'm curious to meet this miracle your adobo has apparently conquered. And just like that, the CEO of the La Vega Group was coming to a tiny-rented apartment for lunch. Para akong nataranta. Naglinis ako ng bahay na malengke at syempre, nagluto ng legendary adobo ko. Good thing, umuwi si Miracle from the province for a weekend visit. Excited din siyang makilala ang key boss ni Mama. When Franco arrived, he wasn't wearing his usual power suit. Nakasimpleng polo shirt lang siya at slacks. He looked younger, more relaxed. May dala pa siyang malaking stuffed toy na dinosaur para kay Miracle. My daughter's eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. Wow! See you, T-Rex. Thank you po, Tito. Boss ni Mama. Miracle exclaimed, hugging the dinosaur tightly. Franco chuckled. You can call me Tito Franco, Miracle. Lunch was surprisingly pleasant. Franco was a different person outside the office. He was engaging, witty, and incredibly good with Miracle. Kinakausap niya si Miracle tungkol sa dinosaurs, sa school, sa mga paborito niyang cartoons. Miracle, in turn, was her usual charming and talkative self. At ako. I just watched them, a strange warmth spreading in the chest. It was nice. Seeing Div's daughter so happy and seeing their boss as a normal human being. Pero habang pinapanood ko sila, I couldn't shake off weird feeling. The way Franco looked at Miracle, it wasn't just the polite interest of an adult towards a child. There was something deeper, something familiar in his eyes. A longing, almost. At yung mga ngiti niya kay Miracle, parang may tinatagong lungkot. After lunch, habang nagliligpit ako ng pinagkainan, Franco and Miracle were in the small sala, playing with the dinosaur. I could hear their laughter. Bigla, may nahulog na picture frame mula sa maliit na estante ko. It was the picture of me and Miracle, taken last Christmas. Franco picked it up. She looks so much like you, Vena, he said softly, his eyes fixed on the photo. Then, he looked at me, a strange expression on his face. Especially her eyes. And my eyes. Lagi yung sinasabi ng mga tao. Nakuhang-kuha ni Miracle ang mga mata ko. The next few weeks, napansin ko ang lalong pagiging attentive ni Franco kay Miracle, in a subtle way. Kapag alam niyang pupunta si Miracle sa office para sunduin ako, minsan, pag maaga ang uwi ko, dinadaanan ko siya sa school at sinasama sa office, habang tinatapos ko ang trabaho, he would always find an excuse to bump into us. He'd bring her small treats, ask her about her day. Miracle, of course, adored him. Sino ba namang bata ang hindi matutuwa sa isang tito boss na laging may dalang pasalubong? Ako naman, I was becoming more and more confused. What was with his sudden interest in the daughter? Was he just being nice? Or was there something more? One late afternoon, I was in Franco's office, finalizing some documents for his upcoming trip to Singapore. He had stepped out for a quick meeting. While waiting for him, Junwei's eyes wandered around his massive, impeccably organized office. It was the epitome of corporate power, sleek, modern, impersonal. Then, something caught Junwei's eye. Sa gilid ng desk niya, partly hidden by a stack of folders, was a small, silver picture frame, facing away from his chair, almost as if he didn't want to look at it often. Curiosity got the better of me. Dahan-dahan, kinuha ko yun. It was the picture of a woman. A beautiful woman, with long, dark hair, a sweet smile, and an eyes that looked hauntingly familiar. My breath hitched. Ang mga mata niya parang mga mata ko. Parang mga mata ni Miracle. Who was she? An ex-girlfriend. A relative. Bakit parang may kirot sa dibdib ko habang tinititigan ko siya? Biglang bumukas ang pinto. It was Franco. He stopped short when he saw me holding the picture frame. His face, for a split second, was a mask of pain. Shock. Then, it was gone, replaced by his usual cool composure. Emma Santiago, he said, his voice a little too controlled. Is there a problem? Dali-dali kong binalik ang picture frame. No, sir. Wala po. I was just admiring your office. Lame excuse, Vena. Very lame. He didn't say anything. He just walked to his desk, picked up the picture frame, and without looking at it, placed it inside one of his drawers. Out of sight. The air in the office suddenly felt thick with unspoken words, with hidden secrets. That night, hindi ako mapakali. The woman in the picture. Sino siya? At bakit ganun na lang ang reaksyon ni Franco? My mind started racing. Could it be? The way he looked at Miracle, his strange comments about her eyes. No, impossible. Nag-o-overthink lang ako. But the seed of suspicion had been planted. The next day, I tried to act normal. Pero yung imahe ng babae sa litrato, at yung mga mata niyang kamukhang-kamukha ng sa amin ni Miracle, kept haunting me. Franco seemed distant. More reserved than usual. Para bang may iniiwasan siya. O baka naman ako ang iniiwasan niya. During a lull in our work, I decided to take risk. Kailangan kong malaman. Sir, I began, trying to sound casual. That picture yesterday in your office. She's very beautiful. He tensed. His fingers stopped typing on his laptop. He didn't look at me. She was, he said, his voice flat. Was. Past tense. Was. Pressed gently. Anong nangyari sa kanya, sir, if you don't mind me asking? He finally looked at me, and his eyes were filled with a sadness so profound, it made in my heart ache. She's gone, Vena. She disappeared. Years ago. Disappeared. Flashback. Years ago. A small, moonlit beach in Isla de Clara. A young Franco, not yet the powerful Thay, but carefree young man on vacation, laughing with a young woman. The woman looked so much like me, but younger, more innocent. They were holding hands, whispering sweet nothings, their faces illuminated by a bonfire. Pangako, babalikan kita, mahal ko, young Franco whispered, his eyes full of love and promise. Maghihintay ako, Franco. Kahit gaano katagal, the young woman replied, her eyes shining with tears. The flashback was so vivid, so real, it felt like a memory I had somehow forgotten. Pero impossible. Hindi naman ako yun. O ako nga ba?